My name is Verity Quinn, 32. I was at home, debugging code and melting into my chair when my phone buzzed. $247.89 at Fresher Fair Market. Groceries I didn't buy, from a card only one other person had ever touched. 2 seconds later, a text. Hope you don't mind. Groceries are wild lately. Shrug emoji. Chelsea again. It would have been mildly annoying if it weren't the sixth time this month, and if she weren't the same sister who once looked me dead in the eye and said, "Nobody needs your money or you just think being successful makes you important." She had said that while wearing the scarf I bought her, holding a cocktail I paid for, in a house I kept from foreclosure. She didn't even blink. If you're wondering why she even has my card, or why she felt entitled to use it, that story starts years ago. I've always been the background sibling, quiet, logical, never the favorite. While Chelsea sparkled, I learned how to make the lights work. She's 2 years younger and infinitely louder. She could crash a bike into a mailbox and somehow get me to apologize for making the mailbox look hostile. She got praised for baking half a box of brownie mix. I won regionals in robotics and got polite silence. I didn't hate her. Not when she accidentally deleted my entire Pokemon save file. Not when she posted a TikTok clowning freelancer girls with no social life. But I was tired of being useful only when things broke. After college, I took the long road, freelancing nights, saving dimes, learning the unglamorous magic of stable contracts. I built a small back-end dev business. Nothing flashy, just consistency, no bailouts. Meanwhile, Chelsea pinballed through influencer schemes, cosmetics reps, a week-long life coaching certificate she quit because everyone was too negative. Then Dad died. He left a house with a mortgage hanging by dental floss and a half-paid car loan. Chelsea panicked. Mom went quiet. I stepped in. "I'll take care of it," I said. And I did. I refinanced the house into my name. Took over the car too. I handled power of attorney paperwork because banks move faster when one person signs with clarity. Chelsea signed what I put in front of her. She liked taking selfies in the kitchen while I faxed things that kept the roof over her head. All I asked was simple. Keep things clean. No drama. She hugged me like I had rescued the whole sky. "You're the best, V. Seriously, thank you." That gratitude lasted 2 weeks. Then came the emergency brunches, LED vanity mirrors, $89 candles, and a steady stream of, "You're fine. Don't be so uptight." I didn't cut her off because I kept hearing Dad, "Look out for your sister." And maybe a part of me wanted to believe that one day Chelsea would wake up and mean the words "thank you." Instead, she walked into my apartment without knocking, sunglasses still on, grocery bags in hand. "Need your Amazon login again," she said. "Mine expired. Also, I might have ordered a few things to your place. Hope that's cool." She tossed her ponytail and, on the way to my bathroom, threw the grenade. "Oh, and Verity, nobody needs your money or you. I'm just using the card till I'm settled, which will be soon." Bright smile. Fake. Gone. I didn't follow. I stood there and read her crumpled receipt. Salmon sashimi, imported face cream, a $52 bottle of lavender vinegar. Lavender, because regular acidity didn't feel premium enough. What she didn't know, the house she slept in, mine. The car she filmed in, mine. The legal control in my desk drawer, still mine. Tomorrow, I thought, she'll learn what happens when nobody speaks up. The next morning, I didn't open my laptop. I made coffee and pulled out the fat manila folder I hadn't touched in 2 years. Legal. Chelsea. It was thick with the sort of forms people sign when they're desperate and don't read the second page. Her signature kept appearing. The transfer of the house and the car into my name, the financial power of attorney, the property power of attorney, all clean, all proper, all filed. I called my lawyer, Mr. Burr, a slow-talking contract guy with a surprising passion for untangling bad decisions. "I was wondering when you'd use this," he said, flipping through my scans. "You've had control for 3 years. You sure about pulling the trigger now?" "Positive," I said. "No more warnings. File the revocations. Make it clean." He sniffed once. "I'll prep the letters. If I may, why now?" I pictured Chelsea's shades, the grocery bags, the vinegar. I heard her voice. "Nobody needs your money, or you. Like a mosquito you can't unhear." "Because she looked me in the eye and said I wasn't needed," I said. "Consider this proof of concept." He made a low whistle and got to work. I printed the last 6 months of charges, Groceries, subscription boxes, a spa membership under my name, steakhouse dinners I've never tasted. I forwarded the list to her with a single line. Effective tomorrow, your access ends, including all attached accounts. You will receive official paperwork shortly. Verity. Then I silenced her notifications. It didn't matter. Chelsea doesn't read emails unless there's a Sephora code attached. She learned the normal way, by trying to use my card. That afternoon, Verity. Why is my card declined at the salon? Then a call. Then 5 more. I didn't answer. The buzzer rang while I was making lunch. I watched her on my door cam, ponytail crooked, sunglasses perched high, arms windmilling, like she was signaling a runway she felt entitled to land on. I opened the door before she could buzz again. Forgot your key? I asked. She blew in on a perfume of indignation. Why is everything frozen? My card, my Amazon, even your Netflix is gone. That one was an accident. I'd finally kicked everyone off my profile. This isn't funny, she said. I have a facial next week. My car needs gas. Groceries are scheduled. What is going on? I handed her the envelope. I'm revoking the powers of attorney. It's all in there. She stared at the words like they were an alien alphabet. Powers of what? Are you kicking me out? I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. Silence was a mirror. She didn't like what it reflected. Oh my God, you're serious. A laugh, sharp and glassy. You're going to destroy your own sister over a credit card? That's pathetic. I told you I'd pay you back. In 2021, you've had 3 years. So now what? You want me homeless? Sleeping in my car? I didn't have the heart to tell her the car wasn't hers either. Not yet. I want you independent, I said. That's your word, right? Nobody needs my money. Great, prove it. For the first time in a long time, she had no comeback. The room went quiet except for the hum of the fridge we both knew I bought. You can't just revoke my life, she said, voice snagging on the word life. It wasn't your life, I said softly. You rented it with my patience. She paced, casting for an angle. People follow me. I have collabs coming. I have a reputation. I can't just... What am I supposed to tell people? The truth. That your big sister energy was bankrolled by your actual big sister. She flinched. I never said... Tuesday, direct quote. Her phone was already in her hand, thumbs flying, probably texting Ela, the friend who calls me the quiet sister, like it's a diagnosis. I waited. A beat. 2. She snapped the envelope shut and forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Fine, you made your point. I'll Venmo you. Just unlock the card and I'll fix it. Venmo me? From the account linked to my debit card? I tilted my head. Her expression flickered. Okay, maybe not Venmo, but I'll figure something out. Figure it out with your own money. That's the point. Her tone sharpened. You're just bitter because nobody ever pays attention to you. You're the smart one, the boring one, and you think this little power move makes you powerful. The smile turned thin. It just makes you pathetic. I didn't blink. You're welcome to leave when you're done performing. That landed. Her jaw tightened. She did the one thing I didn't expect. She left. No scream, no slam, just a tight spin, a mutter, and the click of the hallway door. I stood in the quiet and listened to my own heartbeat, steady, surprised. Relief coiled with grief. Not grief for her, grief for the version of me who believed she might change if I just kept paying the invoice of her chaos. I stacked the signed revocations beside my coffee mug and texted Mr. Burr. Filed. Send certified copies today. He replied with a thumbs up and a tracking number. Then I walked to the window and watched the late light turn the street to brass. Somewhere around the next corner, Chelsea was rewriting the story to make me the villain. Let her. I wasn't auditioning anymore. I had finally taken my name back from the credits. Tomorrow, the letters would land. And when they did, the real story would begin. The letters landed on a gray Thursday, the kind of sky that makes everything look like a photocopy of itself. Certified mail. Green slips. Signatures required. Mr. Burr texted me a photo of the acceptance. Chelsea's looping heart over the sea. I could almost hear the pen scratch. 15 minutes later, my phone lit up like a switchboard. First text, what is this? Second, you can't be serious. Third, this is illegal, Verity. Fourth, answer your phone. Fifth, I'm coming over. She didn't wait for my reply because she never needed permission to trespass. 2 elevator dings later, the buzzer sounded. On my door cam, she filled the frame, makeup sharp as a blade, hair too perfect for a weekday. Performance armor. I opened the door and stepped aside. She breezed past me like a season I was done with. She waved the envelope. You revoked my access? To the house? To the car? To accounts? Are you out of your mind? I revoked my access being used as your life raft, I said. There's a difference. She laughed, high and brittle. You think you're a genius because you Googled some forms? Verity, you can't just erase people. This isn't erasure, I said. It's correction. She splayed papers across my kitchen island as if she were trying to perform surgery. Power of attorney, What did I even sign? You signed to let me take care of the mess after Dad died, I said quietly, and I did. So now you're taking everything? Her voice sharpened. That house is home. The house is a mortgage I've been paying for 3 years, I said. It's not a fairy tale cottage. It's a monthly bill with my name on it. And the car? Her chin lifted. You gifted me that. I lent it, I said, under my LLC. You never bothered to read the registration or anything. She stared, the way a person looks when a magic trick gets explained, and they hate it for being ordinary. This is spite, she said. Because you're lonely. Because no one watches your stories. I don't post stories, I said. I file taxes. She snatched her phone and hit a contact. Mom, can you please talk to your daughter? She's trying to ruin my life. I exhaled through my nose. On speaker, Mom's voice arrived with the gentle panic of someone knitting while the house smolders. Girls, what is happening? Chelsea pitched hers soft, rehearsed. She's throwing me out. She's taking the car. I'm not throwing anyone, I said, leaning toward the speaker. I'm ending a subsidy. Verity, Mom said. Then a sigh, then the weighted pause of a woman who's used to smoothing sheets over broken springs. Is there room for compromise? There's room for accountability, I said. But Chelsea's convinced those are the same word. Chelsea rolled her eyes, stabbed the end call, and tossed the phone down. You always weaponize language, she said. It's creepy. And you monetize illusions, I said. It's expensive. She smiled then, the smile that used to get her out of traffic tickets and late fees. You want a number? Is that it? You want me to pay you back? Fine, name it. Start with last month's charges, I said. Then 3 years of mortgage differences, then maintenance. Then, okay, so you are trying to make me homeless. The smile died. Do you even hear yourself? I hear math, I said, and for once it's not whispering. She bent toward me, voice dropping into confession tone. Verity, you know what I do is precarious. Brands expect consistency. If I go off grid, my engagement tanks. That spirals. Then get a job that isn't a weather pattern, I said. Her laugh went flat. You would love that. To see me clock in somewhere soul-crushing so you can finally feel superior. I would love to see you stable enough not to drain the people who love you. For a heartbeat, something real flashed across her face. Tiredness, maybe. And then it was gone, replaced by the old choreography. She gathered the papers, fanned them like a dealer about to rig the game. Here's how this works, she said. You unlock the accounts while we renegotiate. I stay in the house, I pay gas on the car, I pitch a few campaigns, catch up, then we revisit in 30 days. No, I said. Excuse me, her voice scissored the air. No, I repeated, because I've given you those 30 days at least 30 times. This is not a pause, it's a pivot. You think you're so poetic, she spat. Say pivot again like it's a TED Talk. I'm not trying to inspire you, I said. I'm trying to stop hemorrhaging. She pressed her knuckles to the marble like a boxer lining up the next swing. I can make this ugly, she said softly. Public ugly. You already did, I said, nodding at her phone. You made a platform out of borrowed scaffolding. I'm just taking the poles with my name on them. For a long, slow moment, we stared at each other through everything we'd ever been. 2 girls in one house with one parent who was better at hope than boundaries. Dad's voice lived in both of us. Look out for your sister, and we'd translated it differently. I had turned it into an ATM code. She had turned it into a stage cue. She broke first. Fine, she said, scooping papers back into the envelope. You want distance? You got it. But don't play benevolent saint when I'm on the sidewalk. I won't, I said. I don't like costumes. She paused at the door, hand on the knob. By the way, she said, casual as catastrophe, I already talked to someone at the DMV. They said titles can be discussed. Did they say fraud can be prosecuted? I asked. Her mouth twitched, the micro-flinch that told me she'd hoped I hadn't read as much as I had. Then she was gone, perfume hanging like a threat after the door clicked shut. I stood for a minute in the hum of my kitchen, palms flat on the counter, feeling the faint vibration of the building like a second pulse. Power doesn't feel like fireworks, I thought. It feels like the absence of dread. My phone pinged. Mr. Burr. All notices confirmed delivered. Also, side note, we can immobilize the vehicle without a tow. Quieter. Cleaner. I typed. Not yet. Let her choose the stage first. He replied with a single dot, as if to say he understood restraint disguised as justice. Chelsea's next move came fast and predictable. Emails to my accountant in a flurry, attempting to clarify authorizations. A password reset request for my cloud storage at 2:14 a.m. 3 unrecognized devices pinging my Netflix again, as if a sitcom rerun could litigate ownership. I closed each door with a click, two-factored the world, and watched the access logs shrink. By Saturday, the ambient pressure shifted. Mom tried again, gentler this time. Sweetheart, your sister is saying she'll pay rent. She's said that since the Obama administration, I said. I know, Mom murmured, and her honesty startled me. I also know you've carried too much. A pause, then. He would be proud of you. Of which part? I asked. The solvency or the spine? Both, she said. He always hoped you'd keep the lights on. He forgot to teach us how to flip the switches off. I closed my eyes. Forgiveness is not a lever, I reminded myself. It's sometimes a lock. That afternoon, a small box appeared on my doormat with my name in glitter marker. Inside, the hoodie she stole from my closet and 3 makeup palettes I'd bought her years back. On top, a sticky note. Take your stuff. I don't need handouts. A petty benediction. I set the box aside, unbothered by the theater of it. I had curated heavy for years. I could survive light. Night fell. My apartment flickered with calm. The click of my kettle, the soft glow of a lamp I'd rewired by hand when the dimmer failed. I opened my laptop and listed the house, my house, for rental tenants. No family discounts, no exceptions. If the algorithm had a sound, it was the thrum of choice. Before bed, I scrolled through Chelsea's feed. She'd gone quiet for 2 days, which in her orbit passes for a sabbatical. The last post was a photo of her hand on a steering wheel, captioned, "Manifest your wheels, ladies. Luxury finds you when you align." The irony burned clean. Let it be the last lie before the curtain, I thought. Sunday morning, my phone vibrated with a calendar alert I'd forgotten I set months ago. Oil change. Sedan, LLC. The car. I sipped coffee and stared at the reminder as if it were a riddle. The simplest decisions often take the longest to arrive. I texted Mr. Burr, tomorrow immobilize, no tow, quietly, and send the legal notice to her inbox at exactly 11:15 a.m. He replied, poetic timing? Brunch hour, I wrote. Audience guaranteed. Cruel, he typed, then a beat later, effective. I closed my phone and pressed my palm to the cool window. Down in the street, a woman crossed with a brown paper bag tucked to her chest like a newborn. The sky had finally remembered how to be blue. In the reflection, my face looked like what it felt like, tired and certain. I was not ending my sister. I was ending the subsidy that let her pretend gravity didn't apply. Chelsea thought the world owed her softness. I knew the bill always arrives. When you've spent long enough catching knives, you stop being impressed by how sharp they are. Tomorrow, the engine would turn into an answer. Tomorrow, her audience would hear the sound the truth makes when it refuses to crank. And somewhere between the camera and her smile, a story would finally stall long enough to see itself. I rinsed my mug. I turned off the lamp. I went to bed in a room that no longer hummed with waiting. Morning broke with a quiet confidence. I brewed coffee, logged into my work dashboard, and for once, there were no emergency texts, no overdraft alerts from Chelsea's spending spree, no emotional detonations disguised as favors. Just stillness. At 11:13 a.m., Mr. Burr sent a single message. Activated. 2 minutes ahead of schedule. I smiled, almost involuntarily. Meanwhile, though I didn't know it yet, Chelsea was live. Phone-mounted, pink faux fur jacket, oversized sunglasses, nails glinting like glass. Caption, brunch with my girls, new collab coming. Behind her, the car, my car, gleamed in the sun. The chat fluttered, obsessed with the vibe, manifesting that ride. She's glowing. Then, on camera, she slipped into the driver's seat, Turn the key. Click. Nothing. She tried again. Click. A faint alarm tone bled through the speakers. That's weird, she laughed, forcing lightness. It's been acting up. Mercury retrograde. Her friend Ela leaned into frame. Girl, you sure it's not your battery? Or payments? Chelsea's laugh sharpened. Please, I own this car. Verity, my sister, handled the boring paperwork years ago. The name dropped like a rock into the chat. Wait, handled how? One viewer typed. You mean she bought it? Another said. Girl said self-made, but sis made the lease. Her smile wobbled. No, she helped, like years ago. She turned the key again. The dashboard flashed red. A soft whine. Then a mechanical voice. Vehicle access revoked. Contact administrator. For a beat, silence. Then laughter, nervous, brittle. It's a tech glitch. Don't freak out. Isla leaned closer to the camera, squinting at the display. Wait, does that say revoked? Chelsea's eyes darted to her phone. Notifications rolled in faster than she could read. Her inbox filled with a new email from Burr & Associates. Notice of revocation and immobilization. Vehicle number 72B, LLC. I could imagine the color draining from her face as she opened it. She read the subject line aloud before realizing her mic was still on. The chat froze. 1,000 invisible viewers holding their breath. Her laugh cracked. Okay, this is actually not funny anymore. Verity, if you're watching this... She stopped mid-sentence, catching herself. Because I was watching. All of it. I didn't gloat. I didn't cheer. I just watched her stare at the screen, mascara perfect and unraveling. Within seconds, someone clipped the live stream. Influencer loses car live, the caption said. Turns out it was her sister's, one comment read. Lesson of the day. Read what you sign. The algorithm smelled blood. By the time she deleted the video, reaction channels had already uploaded mirrors. Hashtags bloomed like bruises. Revoked. Family funds. Sister says no. Mr. Burr texted me again. Handled cleanly. She received digital notice midstream. Impressive timing. I replied, not timing. Truth. It always shows up uninvited. That evening, my mother called. Her voice trembled with that particular blend of love and disapproval only mothers perfect. Verity, she began, Chelsea's devastated. Everyone saw what happened. Did you have to make it so public? I didn't make it public, I said. She did. She's crying, saying you embarrassed her. She embarrassed herself, I said gently. I just turned off the faucet. There was a pause, a sigh. You were always the responsible one. That's not a compliment anymore, Mom. She's your sister, and I'm her lesson, I said quietly. After we hung up, I walked to the window. The city glowed like distant circuitry. For years, I'd mistaken stability for coldness, thinking that if I stayed calm enough, people would stop taking. But silence doesn't teach lessons. Boundaries do. The next morning, a cardboard box waited at my door again. Inside, the lavender vinegar, still unopened. A note taped to the bottle. Hope you're happy. I laughed once softly. Happiness wasn't the goal. Peace was. But Chelsea wasn't done. That night, she resurfaced online with the caption, Some people will use money to control you, but I'm reclaiming my power. The comments were split. Half sympathy, half skepticism. One said, Girl, your sister paid your mortgage. Another, reclaiming power from what? Accountability? The tide was turning. Then, a DM from her. You win. Are you proud? I stared at the words for a long time before typing. It's not a game. She didn't reply. The next morning, I found a message on my voicemail. Her voice clipped. Too fast. Trying not to sound like defeat. Hey, look. Things got out of hand. I know you think I'm selfish, but I'm just trying to survive. I'll figure something out. Just please don't touch the house. There it was, the fear she'd been pretending not to feel. The one truth behind all the glitter. I didn't call back. Instead, I drove past the house that night. Not to gloat, to look. The porch light was off. The yard littered with boxes. And in the driveway sat the car, motionless. Her car, my car. For once, no camera, no audience. Just Chelsea, sitting on the porch steps, head in her hands, staring at the ground. I almost rolled down my window. Almost. But I didn't, because sometimes silence says everything. That night, as I lay in bed, I realized something simple and terrifying. She wasn't the only one I'd been rescuing. I'd been rescuing myself from the fear of being unlikable, from being the mean sister, from being misunderstood. But you can't heal in the same story that broke you, and mine had finally reached the closing line. I turned off my phone, and for the first time in years, slept without dreaming of debt. 3 days passed before the next ripple. By then, the internet had found a new scandal, and Chelsea's audience had moved on to someone else's drama. But silence doesn't mean surrender, it means plotting. Her first move came quietly, a flurry of paperwork filed at the DMV, a transfer attempt. She'd tried to register my car under her name, armed with nothing but charm, forged confidence, and a misunderstanding of what legal ownership meant. Mr. Burr called me, amusement heavy in his voice. She really thought a manicure and a signature could undo your filings, he said. What happens next? I asked. She'll get a polite rejection letter, bureaucratic poetry at its finest. That afternoon, Mom called again. Your sister's embarrassed, Verity, she said gently. People are gossiping. She says you humiliated her. I didn't post her live stream, I replied. She did that all by herself. She's asking if you'll let her stay in the house until she finds somewhere new. She's had 3 years to find somewhere new, Mom. I know, she sighed, voice splintering at the edges, but she's family. So am I. Silence, the kind that drags its feet. I softened a little. I'm not trying to destroy her life, Mom. I'm just done paying for it. She's saying she'll get a job. She's been saying that since she discovered hashtags. That ended the call. But guilt has a way of lingering like a scent. That night, I found myself scrolling through old photos. Birthdays, vacations, the last Thanksgiving we had together before Dad passed. Chelsea beaming beside me, always front and center, while I hovered in the background holding the camera. The irony wasn't lost on me. I had spent my life framing her best angles. The next morning, a notification buzzed. Property management renewal deadline approaching. The house, my house, was still legally tied to her address. That meant every bill, every liability, every possible disaster had my name on it. I opened the rental portal, cursor blinking on the listing page, a decision humming beneath my fingertips. Post listing? The system asked. I clicked yes. Renters only. No family exceptions, no shared history required. By afternoon, it was live. That evening, she came to my door again. Not angry this time, not armored in designer spite, just small. Hair in a messy bun, hoodie swallowing her frame, eyes rimmed red from crying, or maybe exhaustion. I saw the listing, she said, voice barely audible. You're really kicking me out. I nodded. The lease was never yours. You were a guest. She swallowed hard. I don't have anywhere to go. You have plenty of friends. She gave a bitter laugh. They stopped replying after I lost the car. I didn't say then they weren't friends. She already knew. I'll get a job, she said quickly. I'll pay rent. Real rent. I promise. You've promised before. This time, I mean it. So did I said quietly, when I said I was done. She blinked fast, tears trembling but not falling. You know Dad wanted you to take care of me. I froze. That was her trump card, the one that used to break me every time, but not this time. He wanted me to look out for you, I said, not carry you. She stared, stunned, as if she'd never seen me before. And maybe she hadn't. Maybe she only ever knew the version of me who said yes. I opened the door. You have 1 month, I said softly. After that, new tenants move in. She didn't argue, didn't curse, didn't cry, just nodded once and walked into the hallway. No perfume this time, no act, just quiet footsteps fading down the hall. When I closed the door, I leaned against it and exhaled slowly. There was no victory in it, only the weight of unburdening. Later that night, Mom called again. Her tone was gentler now, maybe even resigned. I don't want to fight, she said. I just want to understand. Then ask, I said. She says you're trying to ruin her. I'm trying to stop enabling her. A pause. You've always been the reliable one. That's the problem, I said. Everyone's always understood me as the one who'll fix it. No one's ever asked how I'm doing, just when I'll step in next. She was quiet for a while, then she whispered, Are you angry? No, I said. I'm tired. For the first time, she didn't defend Chelsea. She just sighed. Maybe it's time we all stop pretending she's the only one who's hurting. After the call, I sat by my window with a cup of tea. Outside, the world looked washed clean by rain. In the distance, the city glowed, bright but unreachable. I watched headlights drift past, one after another, each carrying people I'd never know, each moving forward. That was the difference now. Chelsea wanted rescue. I wanted release. I turned off my phone, and for the first time, the silence didn't ache. It settled. And in that stillness, I realized the cost of kindness without boundaries isn't money, it's identity. And I was finally done paying that bill. Tomorrow, the clock would start on her final 30 days. Tomorrow, I'd wake up free of the illusion that saving someone is the same as loving them. Because love without limits isn't love at all. It's debt disguised as devotion. And I was done collecting interest. Day 28, the final sunrise of shared history. I drove past the house one last time, not out of spite, just confirmation. The porch lights were off, the curtains half drawn, cardboard boxes leaned against the railing, slumped like tired soldiers, and taped to the inside of the glass door was a note. 2 words. Keys and mailbox, signed only with a single letter, C. No apology, no thank you. Just the minimalist punctuation of defeat. I parked the car and stepped onto the porch. The door creaked when I opened it, tired but not angry. The air smelled like perfume trying to hide reality, vanilla and regret. Inside, the place looked almost clean. Almost. The kind of clean you do when you're erasing evidence, not making peace. A fake plant tipped in the corner, roots showing. A crooked vision board still taped to the hallway wall. Words written in glitter pen, curling at the edges. Own a penthouse by 30 gemstone energy. Another said, manifest wealth, not stress. I laughed once, softly, not cruelly. The only wealth in this house had been mine. The kitchen was bare. She took the air fryer, the blender, the marble cheese board she never used, left behind expired oat milk and a single coffee pod. Bathroom? Spotless, except for one drawer. Inside, a cracked foundation palette I'd bought her years ago, back when she was launching her support my brand phase. She said it was the shade of power. Now it looked like beige regret. I didn't take anything, didn't toss anything either. I just walked through each room, feeling the ghost of all the versions of me that had tried to save her, and one by one, I let them go. By the time I reached the living room, I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sad, just empty in a way that finally felt clean. The next afternoon, Mr. Burr called. Just confirming, he said. Chelsea has vacated the premises. Lease termination finalized. Tenants move in Tuesday. Any issues? I asked. He chuckled. She tried one last thing. Submitted a handwritten letter claiming she was exercising her tenancies by default clause. I frowned. What clause? There is no clause, he said, amused. She probably picked the phrase off a legal drama. I pinched the bridge of my nose. She thinks she's a lawyer now? Or at least an extra on Suits, he said. Either way, it didn't fly. I exhaled, long and full. Thank you. He paused. You know, most people in your position would have caved, given her another month, maybe even bought her a mattress for the new place. I used to be most people, I said. Well, he said, smiling through the phone, remind me not to get on your bad side. Only takes years of disrespect and credit fraud, I replied. He laughed. You're not unreasonable, Ms. Quinn. No, I said quietly. I'm just done being reasonable at my own expense. That night I scrolled through social media, not stalking, just curious. And there she was. Not on her own profile, of course. That had gone dark. But on someone else's story, a blurry clip tagged at the bottom, @ChelseaUntouchable. She was on a couch, hoodie too big, hair undone, no filters. Music played softly in the background. One of those melancholy breakup songs about starting from zero. For the first time, she wasn't performing. No captions, no product placement, no borrowed luxury in the frame. Just Chelsea. Real, quiet, invisible in someone else's living room. I didn't screenshot it, didn't send it to anyone, didn't even smile. I just stared at the screen for a moment, then closed the app. The next morning, a small padded envelope waited in my mailbox. No return address. Inside, a photograph. It was old, 10 years ago maybe. Me, Chelsea, and Dad, standing outside the old house. I was awkward, braces and all. She wore glitter sneakers and a grin. Big enough for both of us. Dad's arm was around us, mustache awful as ever. On the back of the photo, taped in her familiar handwriting, was a note. I was awful. You didn't deserve it. You were the only one who ever showed up. I get that now. No signature, but I didn't need one. I sat with it for a long time. Not crying, not forgiving, just feeling. Maybe this was the apology she couldn't say out loud. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it didn't matter. Because for the first time, I didn't feel the need to fix anything, to respond, to reopen a door that had finally stayed shut. People think closure comes with a bow, but sometimes it comes in silence, or in an old photograph that smells like dust and memory. I pinned the photo to my corkboard above my desk, not out of nostalgia, but as a reminder. Love doesn't mean unlimited chances. Loyalty doesn't mean silence. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone who's used you is stop letting them. The next morning, I got an email from the rental portal. Tenant application approved. Lease signed. Move-in date confirmed. A nice couple, mid-30s, quiet, reliable, no hashtags, no illusions. Just people who wanted a home and could afford it. And as I read the confirmation, something inside me unclenched. A muscle I didn't know had been holding tension for years finally let go. Chelsea's chapter in my life had closed. Not with a scream, not with revenge, but with paperwork, peace, and a photo from a decade ago. For the first time, I felt free. Not triumphant, not vindicated, just free. The kind of free that doesn't need an audience. The kind that finally lets you breathe without checking if someone else is stealing the air. Tomorrow, the new tenants would move in. Tomorrow, my name would finally mean mine. And somewhere out there, maybe Chelsea would look at an empty feed, a silent phone, and realize that independence isn't something you declare, it's something you earn. Tuesday arrived without ceremony. No drama, no tension humming under the surface, just the sound of a moving truck in the distance and the faint rhythm of a new beginning. The new tenants, a calm couple in their mid-30s, signed their paperwork in neat, efficient strokes. They smiled, shook my hand, and said thank you twice. Their gratitude was quiet, the kind that doesn't expect applause. A week later, they sent an email. The washer's in great condition. Thank you again for leaving it behind. It made me laugh. Chelsea used to call that washer hideous. Now, it was an asset. Funny how the same thing can look different when it actually belongs to you. For the first time in years, my bills didn't carry anxiety like a hidden surcharge. Every envelope that arrived with my name on it was mine, not hers. My car was re-registered, clean, uncontested, quiet in the garage as if it too had exhaled. Some evenings, I'd take it for a drive, not far, just enough to feel the hum of an engine that finally answered to me. The city lights slid past like memories I didn't need to revisit. One Sunday afternoon, I stopped by a small coffee shop on the corner. It smelled like cinnamon and espresso, the kind of scent that softens even the sharpest edges of memory. As I stood in line, I saw her. Chelsea, sitting by the window, laptop open, hair tied up in a messy bun. No filters, no angles, just her. She didn't see me, or maybe she did and decided to let the moment pass. Either way, I didn't wave, didn't interrupt, didn't gloat. I just ordered my drink, left a tip, and walked out. Because that moment wasn't about revenge, it was about realization. I no longer needed one. There's a strange peace in not caring whether someone ever understands what they took from you. Peace in knowing you finally stopped volunteering for pain. Back home, I pinned that old photo she'd mailed me, the one with Dad's bad mustache and our uneven smiles, onto the corkboard above my desk, not as a shrine, as a reminder. That love isn't supposed to hurt this much. That loyalty without boundaries is just servitude in prettier packaging. And that forgiveness sometimes looks like distance. I looked around my apartment, my space, and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Stillness. No buzzing phone demanding rescue. No tension hiding behind urgent texts. No fear that helping meant disappearing a little more each time. Just quiet. Outside, the sun dipped below the skyline. Light scattered across the window like spilled gold. For once, I didn't feel the need to chase it. I just let it fade. Because sometimes peace doesn't come with applause. It comes when you finally stop explaining yourself. Chelsea's chapter in my life didn't end with hatred. It ended with understanding. That she was who she was, and I didn't need to keep paying for that lesson. I poured another cup of coffee, sat at my desk, and looked at the photograph again. In it, I saw something I hadn't before. 3 people trying to love each other the only way they knew how. Clumsily, incompletely, humanly. Maybe that was enough. I closed my eyes and breathed. No noise, no guilt, no weight. Just quiet, at last.